Hello there, Commonwealth from here, and it's time to talk about the one thing that really matters when it comes to Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, namely, when will we get to play it? Because we could be in a situation where, much like we saw with Echoes of Wisdom, and also for most of the world, Age of Imprisonment, where we didn't get to play the games until the release date. And the question is, when is that? Our most credible source when it comes to this matter is obviously Natahate. He said holiday, but holiday can mean a lot. It can mean everything from the end of October all the way to a week in December. And there is a big trap in all of this that makes this release date thing a big challenge. Something that not many have really been even considering or talking about, because Ocarina of Time originally released on November 21st, 1998. And November 21st, 2026 is on a Saturday. In other words, it's impossible to launch it on that day. Also, it is just a few days after November 19th, which would be the typical Nintendo release date, for it to be close to this date. Namely, pretty much celebrating it. But we all know GTA 6 or Grand Theft Auto 6 is launching this day, and sure, you could pull off another Animal Crossing New Horizons and Doom Eternal situation where you have a big game launching on other systems and then a big game launching on Nintendo systems, but it is a little bit of a different situation this time. We're talking about the biggest game release ever against the release of the remake of the best rated game ever. It's a little bit different there because obviously one is going to sell more than the other, and as much as I would have loved to say that Ocarina of Time Remake will sell more than GTA 6, I am a realist. I know that that is not going to happen, and even Nintendo will have to watch out when it comes to Thursday, November 19th for one particular reason, and that is what game are people going to play that week, the week after, and the week so on, all the way until the end of the year, holidays of 2026. We, hardcore Zelda fans, will obviously play Ocarina of Time Remake before playing GTA 6. But for the majority of gamers, especially those who got into because of the open world concept of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, so the reason why Legend of Zelda franchise is now so big as it is, they are probably gonna play GTA 6 if they own a PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series console. That is just the truth of the matter. It's a game that people have been waiting for and they don't want to miss out. For us Zelda fans, it's hard to understand, but I would say November 19th is for this one particular reason out. Like, it would be awesome with the memes of Hero of Time coming out the same day as GTA 6. But that is not really a meme when you think about it. A meme would be it came out before or even right after GTA 6. At least GTA 6 came out before Ocarina of Time Remake, because another option here is of course Black Friday or the day before that, just Thanksgiving. I don't think we're gonna see Ocarina of Time Remake launch on Thanksgiving. As much as it would be interesting to launch it for Black Friday, especially with a bundled system, that would sell like hotcakes on Black Friday. But we have to remember, in the rest of the world, Thanksgiving isn't a holiday. In Japan it isn't, in Europe it isn't, so maybe they could go for it. But of course America is just too big of and too important of a market to ignore there, unless you of course launch it physically in stores on Black Friday. That's the interesting thing as well, because GTA 6 is all digital, it's just code in a box. It's not even a disc anymore. And we know that PlayStation is gonna completely discontinue physical discs in 2028. So I think like Ocarina of Time is a very important statement on this specific time frame and bringing confidence to the fact that this is the Nintendo game that is closest probably to 2027. And as a result, confirming that it is physical, because that's also something that hasn't been. We don't know the price of this thing, we don't know the release date, we don't know if it's gonna be physical or not, seeing everything that's going on with GTA 6 and now the future of PlayStation. It is also the only Nintendo game coming out in 2026 without a release date, or even a release window. It could have said holiday 2026, and that would have made it more confident. We know that of course from Nate, but the question is really in this case, how much and how long are we gonna wait for the release date of Ocarina of Time Remake? And the way I see it is that since we have the release date already of Nintendo Switch Sports, the last so far confirmed Nintendo game on October 22nd, we know that Ocarina of Time Remake will have to come out after it. The question is just how long after? Like, you could do it as a Halloween game already on the 29th of October, but I think they want to have a little bit of a space, at least 2 weeks, and that's where we come up with November 5th. November 5th makes sense because it is where Age of Imprisonment launched, specifically November 6th in 2025. Why does it work? It's 2 weeks before GTA 6. It allows people to play through Ocarina of Time and get the game before starting to play GTA. It is a good strategy, I think, and I believe that it is most likely the release date for Ocarina of Time Remake, unless it gets pushed out further into December, as we have seen with a few other Nintendo games, though that would of course exclude it, just like GTA is excluded from being nominated for Game of the Year, or any nominations for that matter, at the Game Awards. Question is Nintendo going to care about that? Hard to tell, really. Game Awards is mostly going to be used for the Zelda movie anyway, as we have seen in the past with the Super Mario Bros. Movie and also Super Mario Galaxy movie. It seems like that is the marketing outlet for the movies, not so much the games anymore. But of course, we have Zelda's 40th anniversary, and that one is lasting until February 2027. So if it is delayed, yeah, it could be delayed to like February. I don't see it happening though. I don't think they would have said 2026 otherwise. Remakes, remasters, they don't get delayed the same way as 3D games. Not even 2D games do that. We can use the history of Triforce Heroes, A Link Between Worlds, and most recently Echoes of Wisdom to make sure that it is only the new open-air games or 3D games that end up being delayed when they have a release year. But we also have information, well, rumor in this case, from Nash Weedle, namely that it is possible that we'll not see much more of Ocarina of Time Remake until September. Quite interesting, because that means that there's no Ocarina of Time at Gamescom. Of course, he's talking about a Zelda Direct, he's talking about a Nintendo Direct, which sort of makes sense. Those two could be untangled based on how rumors work. Sometimes they are correct with the format, sometimes they are correct with the content. Seeing what happened with Age of Imprisonment and the fact that we got the release date of that game for November 6th in the September Nintendo Direct, so on September 12th, 2025, that is exactly where you do it. Ties to Zelda's 40th anniversary. I've already brought up the possibility of it being the starter of a September Nintendo Direct if it isn't a part of a dedicated Zelda 40th anniversary, or for that matter Zelda Ocarina of Time Remake Direct that is timed pretty much 2 months before the release of the game. And that brings us back to November 5th, because November 5th is a date that goes well with being well in the Zelda 40th anniversary. It is fitting with the release timing of Age of Imprisonment, staying away from, you know, maybe the most teasing spot if it wasn't there, but you have to watch out for GTA 6 this year. You can't launch a game on the same day or week. It's as simple as that. It's just a question of what people will play. Truth of the matter is, November 5th is just the perfect timing. It is the day that Nintendo is likely aiming for and have maybe also decided to go for. I actually wish that they had announced it already for November 5th, but the reveal of Ocarina of Time Remake with the changes that we have already seen happened before we got the pre-orders of GTA 6 and confirming rock solid Thursday, November 19th as the release date. And this is the strange thing also about Ocarina of Time Remake. It is not only the only Nintendo game of 2026 that hasn't had a confirmed release date so far, it is the only Zelda game, the Legend of Zelda game remake that has been revealed that hasn't gotten a specific release timing. We saw a similar situation with Link's Awakening remake where it said, but that was in February. The game wasn't coming out until September, so they had, of course, the E3 Direct in 2019 to solidify the day and still have months for marketing. But on the other side, after what we saw with Age of Imprisonment, even though Echoes of Wisdom did get its release date immediately as it was revealed in June, that was also a September release. This is most likely a November release, so revealing it 2 months before, if we get a Direct in the very start of September, so say September 7th or even September 1st, Tuesday the 1st is absolutely a possibility. It's something we have to keep in mind, and it is right after Gamescom, so people will be in gaming mood. We just got announcements about other games there, probably, if Ocarina of Time isn't there. And then you can start the marketing cycle and get the 2 full months, even more than 2 full months. That is my take on it. I think it is going to be Thursday, November 5th. But it could also be in the weeks before and after. It depends if it is just too close to Nintendo Switch Sports Resort or not. But what do you think? Do you think that Ocarina of Time Remake will have a release date before a September Direct, whether it's a Zelda Direct or a general Nintendo Direct? And do you think it will be in November or in October or December? sound off in the comment section down below. If you haven't already, then be sure to leave a like, subscribe and press the notification bell. Last but not least, a big thanks to you for watching and to all our patreon.com/commonrealm patrons. Special shoutouts go to our heroes, Cheryl, Garrett Hoy, Holly Wolf and Kintaro. You rock, and please enjoy these awesome videos.